the Alan Cox Show.
Idiot. Stupid moron.
216-578-1007 or 1-800-348-1007.
Poundcake, who do you think this is? You'll never get it, but who do you think it is?
Smashing Pumpkins.
Try again.
It's not Smash Mouth. It's not a tribute to them.
A tribute to Smash Mouth, a band called The Descendants.
Oh,
you guys aren't going to know them, but if you were into OG punk, you'd know who they were. I think their drummer is their last original member, but they have influenced every modern punk band you like. They were part of that L.A. Hardcore punk scene in the late 70s in L.A., and they still go out and tour, and they were going to be part of this punk festival called the 1, 2, 3, 4 Fest, and they canceled it at the last minute. And so people are trying to figure out why that is.
The whole festival or this
The
band
whole
canceled?
festival. It was The Descendants. It was Rise Against, Mary's favorite.
Whoop, whoop.
Rancid and Jawbreaker and all. It was going to be like this, you know, the inaugural punk festival here in the U.S. So it was going to happen in Denver and Philly. Denver was this weekend. Philly was going to happen the weekend of the 23rd. And they just put out a statement saying that the promoters canceled due to circumstances beyond their control, which I always read as we didn't sell nearly as many tickets as we thought we were going to. We thought that all the old punks would come out and try to relive the glory days. Pussy Riot was going to be on this thing. You know, those girls are looking for any reason to get out. Dillinger 4, Rancid, Jawbreaker, Descendants. Descendants still tour. They're over opening for Japanese bands or something in Asia. And they said this festival is not going to be 200 bands on 10 stages. And no rock star BS. But they have had to cancel it. So listen, maybe you're one of our bureau chiefs in Philly or Denver, and you were going to go to this all-day punk fest. It has been canceled. That'll be a bummer. Why don't you come to Cleveland, Ohio, and do it? You know, Cleveland has a rich history with punk rock. Might not realize it, but no shortage of punk bands came out of Cleveland, Ohio. Dead Boys, chief among them, I think. Rocket from the Tombs, a lot of good bands. Bring a punk festival to Cleveland, Ohio. Now, sure, Poundcake's favorite punk band, who?
Panic at the Disco.
Panic at the Disco.
Second best Paramore.
Paramore and Panic at the Disco. You know, just because they start with P doesn't make them punk.
Yes, it does.
Is that what jammed you up? Okay. Bring it here. Somebody do it here. You put Devo on it, right? I don't know if people consider Devo a punk band. I certainly do. Anti-Flag broke up. They were regional. They're a Pittsburgh band, of course. But I think they broke up overnight because there's some forthcoming allegations against their singer. So that's one of those, all right, board up all the windows. Get the hell out of here. But try it here. You know, back in the day when all those bands were playing the dive bars, they weren't generating a lot of interest from record labels, but there weren't many record labels for punk bands to play for. But the people who know those bands love them. Try it here. In the meantime, the 1, 2, 3, 4 Fest is not going to happen. I'd love to know why, though. Anytime something gets canceled and they go, circumstances beyond our control. Because if you have enough tickets sold, there are no circumstances beyond your control, right? You ever notice how many punk bands have "the" in their name? Somebody asks. No. I haven't.
The Rancid.
Yeah. And why
the-
not the? You know, I mean, there was a band called The. They thought they were being all cute.
The
They were a British punk band. No, not The's.
Oh.
That would be
The.
stupid. That would be stupid, Cody.
The. They were out the same time the Descendants were.
The Lady Mama lie.
Yeah. But I don't know if those guys are still around. But again, these are bands with, like, if they have one original member, they're old dudes. That's what these festivals are for. But a band like the Descendants, who every current punk band you like will say, oh, we formed a band because of the Descendants. Blink-182 and MXPX and NoFX, other bands with X, Pennywise and Green Day, they will all say, yeah, the Descendants. That's why we started playing punk rock. And they're still out there doing stuff.
It's just amazing how many.
It is, isn't it?
Well, it's just amazing how many bands there are, and some you just never heard of, but they've been around forever.
Well, what's amazing to me and what I really like is a band that you and I have never heard of. And I mean even prior to social media, where it was a lot easier to generate an audience, was when bands that, A, you don't even know they're still around, but they come to town and they can sell out.
That's what I'm
You go,
talking
wow,
about.
there's
It's
a lot of
crazy.
people here who love what you consider to be kind of an esoteric band. There's a lot of people where that's their favorite band.
I was gonna say, if it's not mainstream,
And that's a great thing.
If it's not mainstream, is it automatically underground then?
I don't even know what mainstream means anymore,
Well,
quite frankly.
because there's like a market for some, like, oh, if they get played on there, if they get played on the radio, they're mainstream. And so there's some bands. There's a guy I went to high school with, and it kind of annoyed me because once a band went quote mainstream, he didn't like them anymore. So it wasn't his thing was bands that weren't discovered or like on their come up, and then once they
He wanted to be the cool guy that knew
once
all
they
the
got their
unknown
big break,
bands.
Yeah, but I think
didn't like 'em.
I think that's gone away because it kind of had to. Like
Well, it was
being
never great anyway. Like it was never like everyone was doing. There's a lot of people that'd be like, you took pride in knowing them before they got famous, but then when they got famous, you felt like now you have to
They're
share them with
sellouts.
people that are like didn't appreciate them. You're like, yeah, I already told you guys you were good and you didn't trust me. But then they got on TRL.
Well, yeah, but that's all an ego thing for the person. That's
Right.
an ego thing for you or me or whatever. I never minded. I was always happy when people found the bands I was telling them about. I was always very happy. I'm like, great, more people are into this band I like.
We still haven't though
What's that?
on this show.
You haven't what?
We haven't found the bands that you tell us about.
Oh well,
We're
no,
like,
but
yeah.
I mean, I that's fine. But like you find a fellow throbbing Gristle fan, and you can sit there and talk to him about what's going on.
Mary would probably like them.
No.
Of course she would. Genesis Porridge. Come on.
I don't want to hear about porridge.
Okay.
I was
No, listen, but mainstream, by the way, people knock bands like Nickelback, and they're
Great
very
show.
rich. They're
Great
like
show.
Jimmy Buffett, okay? He was never cool. He's a billionaire as of this year. He's like, haha, whatever. I mean, those guys aren't worried about being cool because they were never cool. Because cool is such a fleeting thing. You never know when you have it, and you never know when you lost it. So street cred is kind of a thing. I feel like it's gone away because everything is so fragmented. Everybody's grasping at whatever they can grab to get heard or seen or paid or whatever. So a lot of that mainstream versus whatever. There's still people who pride themselves on being underground, but I think by the time you're 45 and you're either living with a roommate or doing all your gigs in your van, unless that's the life you've committed yourself to. And there's nobility in that too. But I don't think there's anything wrong with being mainstream. I don't think there's anything wrong. If you were in a band, you would want as many people. I don't have a band anymore, right? This show, I want as many people listening to this show as possible.
because we're mainstream, baby.
Whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. I don't want people ever turning this radio station off. Ever. So people, well, it's not as good as it used to be. Okay. You're right. But I wasn't
But
here
think of
then.
how, but think
I
of how
wasn't
bad
he-
it's going to get in 10 years. So you might as well listen now. So you can say in 2023, it's actually not too bad compared
It
to what it
was
is in
better when
2033.
Alan Cox is doing afternoons.
Yeah.
I mean, when AI is doing it in 10 years.
Mhm.
Happy 8-year Poundiversary, guys.
Shut up. No, congrats, man. That's great.
Happy birthday.
Oh, your birthday's like this week.
Friday.
Yes.
I meant happy radio birthday,
I
but
was gonna
also
say,
real birthday.
Yeah, Poundiversary. It was all around the same time.
Oh, your birthday's Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't gonna make.
You're going to be 31, homie.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is not a eventful birthday, so I didn't even.
No,
say
this
it.
past Friday was Poundcake's 8th anniversary on the Alan Cox Show. And I'll tell you what,
Yay.
not that any of us remembered, but we couldn't be more pleased. And I think it's his 4th or 5th anniversary as co-host of the Weekend Cox.
Something like that, yeah.
That he is not allowed to do alone.
No, it's not as big as deal.
It's not as big of a deal.
I actually, it was kind of crowded in the beginning because I would much rather Bill and Erica do it when they were doing it, because I would squeeze in there and we were in the fart box and it was just, I don't know. I would just.
You did it in the fart box.
Yeah.
You did it in your news booth.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not the
that was
fart
our
box.
news booth.
I know, but I'm just saying it was very cramped in there when we used to do it.
So what are you
Big ones,
saying is
small
you're
ones,
glad?
skinny ones, tall ones, brown ones, black ones, round ones, fat ones.
What did you say?
I'm just trying to figure out what he's trying to say here.
Oh, nothing. Now that it's just two of us, we each get a mic, so it's fine. Before it was
Wait, all three of you used to do the Weekend Cox?
back in the day.
You and Erica and Bill?
Uh-huh.
We'd
Why
have
was
him
that?
on like one or two of the things.
Sometimes I would just like hop in.
because he would be in there anyway. So
I
it'd be
see.
like, right?
They'd be like, right, Poundcake? And I'd be like, right.
Oh, my
Just in
God.
the background. That was the early stages of Poundcake, where I was just happy to be on air.
And now what?
And now he's not.
Now I got demands.
Now he's like, I got demands. Listen to this
I
guy.
got demands.
You know you have to have leverage for demands, right? You know how
No, you have
demands
to
work?
you have to have leverage to have your demands met.
Yeah,
Well,
You
no,
can have demands. Not to say why? No,
Right.
We would never.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
I got
anyway,
demands.
congratulations.
Thank you.
8 long years on this
Grueling.
program. 8 years you have wasted by not leaving. Trust me, I'm happy to have you. Don't get me wrong. But you started this show saying, I want to have my own show by the time I'm 30.
My dreams have changed.
His dreams have changed. I know. What are they now?
I want to go as far as I can with minimum effort.
But that was always your plan. As far as I can with minimum. I think, you know what? You have.
That's what I'm saying.
You have gone as far as you're going to go with your current level of effort.
Well, I don't know.
And
We
you're
don't
okay
know
with
yet.
that?
We
No,
don't
you
know
say, I
yet.
don't know. I mean, you've been here for 8 years now on the show, and it's not like you're increasing your effort. So you have gone as far as you're going to go.
We won't know until it's done. Until I'm dead.
How will you? Oh, until you're dead.
There might be
Wow.
you don't know. Like, oh wow, he went as far as he could go.
You
with
don't know
minimum
what you don't
effort.
know until you know.
That is true.
So in hindsight, you'll be reading like, well, maybe not you, Alan, but everyone else would be like, wow, he went really far for not trying that hard.
You don't know what you don't know until you know it.
That should be commended.
No. When has anybody ever been commended for putting in the least amount of effort? That's not commendable. It's lucky. Some
No,
people
I think
consider
it's-
it lucky.
I kinda
Hey,
love it.
look what I did, and I really didn't work that hard to get there. But think of how far you can get when you really do put work into it. That's what I always think. But you and I are cut from two different pieces of cloth, and that's fine. You don't have to do things my way.
He's
You
not.
really don't. He's not. That's fine.
He's doing as little as he can to get
right.
his
When did your dreams
change.
when did they change from my own show by the time I'm 30 to I want to get as far as I can with minimal effort? Right.
I don't know. Maybe like
I guess the better
27,
question.
28.
Well, here's the thing. I think the better question is because you've clearly always been a minimal effort. Let's see how far I can go with minimal effort. That's clearly been your vibe.
Mhm.
So at what point did you think that would get you your own show by 30? Why, that's the better question to me is why
As
did
I
you
got-
think that would happen?
As I got closer to 30. maybe like 20. I was like, oh wow, that's like 24 months from now. And I'm like, I'm waiting for these offers to come rolling in.
Why were you waiting? That's the problem.
Because it was
What-
minimum effort. What do you mean?
So no effort. That's no effort. Waiting is no effort. Minimal effort is like, well, I knocked on a couple of
I'll
doors,
send
but then
out
I stopped.
one
Right.
tape.
Minimal waiting is no effort. I guess that is minimal. Zero. You can't get more minimal. You
Than
can't
zero,
do
yeah.
negative energy on it.
Can't do less than nothing.
But he will try. He'll try.
I mean, 0 is actually a speed. Like,
Did
can still-
really?
0 miles per hour?
Did you really think that you were going to get offers, being the phone screen on the show, to have your own show?
Oh no, I got offers. It's kind of funny. Before I actually got on the show, I got offers to go somewhere else, and I didn't go.
Where?
It was. Well, no, I don't want to say. Cause,
Why?
Well,
You
'cause
didn't take the job.
It's 8 years. You're well within your rights to
think
you're
talk
okay.
about it.
I think the
yeah.
I think your NDA is expired.
It wasn't really. I mean, it was. No, I don't want to talk about
You're
it.
lying, aren't you? You're making it up.
No, I'm not.
You got an offer to go before you even here. You got an offer to go where?
It was before I was hired on.
You got when you were still an intern.
Mhm.
Somebody heard you and said, "We'd really like to hire you,"
Yeah.
and you said, "No."
No, because I had.
Where did you want to be? Where wanted to hire you?
Well, I don't want to say.
Is it a local radio station?
Yeah,
Why don't you want to say?
because I don't want to say.
Well, now you've piqued our collective interest.
Well,
Yeah, we want to know.
I'll put it in the group chat, but I'm not gonna.
Why won't you just say it on the
Put it in the
air?
group
I-
chat,
because
and I'll
20
say it on the
years
air.
ago.
No, I don't want to say.
All right. I think you're making it up.
Put it in the group
I
chat.
think you're lying,
Group chat it.
and then I'll say it.
No,
Take the pressure off yourself.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
Okay. Well, then don't put it. I don't want to know if you're not going to say it on the air.
Okay.
So let's just go with
And this
that.
is why he's not going to get his own show.
Let's go with that being true. Why did you turn it down?
Because I felt like this was.
A paid gig, and you turned it down.
Because I felt like this was a bigger audience.
That's not the point. This
But-
is a much bigger audience, but you would have gone from an internship to a paid gig. That's the point of anybody in this business. You had a line of every intern that preceded you would have jumped at that.
And I didn't know how reliable it was because it wasn't like on paper. It was like talking to someone. And
Well, then that's not an offer. That's a conversation about somebody going, "Hey, was it an internet radio station?"
No.
It was a terrestrial commercial radio station
Yes.
in this market
Around this market.
that
yeah.
said, "Hey, what day part did they want you to do?"
It didn't even get that far.
So it wasn't an offer, is my point.
Okay.
This was a conversation
This
you
was
had.
an
If somebody said,
interest.
"Hey, we like the cut of your jib. Would you ever think about coming over here?" Was that the extent of the conversation?
Yes.
Okay. They said, "Would you ever consider coming over here?" And you said,
Nah, then I have to drive. I can't drive to work.
Well, I know.
"Well, he was driving to work every day."
It would have made things really inconvenient had I taken that job.
You didn't even have to move. It was a job in the market, and that was too inconvenient.
At that
Like
point,
I had to pack my crap and move 4 or 5 times over the course of my career. You were like, too inconvenient.
at that time.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining.
I was probably too immature.
I think
to
you're a
take that
delight.
job.
I'm just curious. What's that?
I say I was probably too immature at the time to take that job. But
Well, but they didn't think so.
And they wanted it to be your own show.
it wasn't a show. It was a DJ gig.
Like a day part.
But that's your show. I mean,
Yeah.
that's,
But
that's
it
your
would have
show.
been you.
Yes, correct. I just front selling and back selling songs.
Format.
Breaks. Yeah.
What's the format?
It
What-
was.
Hmm?
It
Top
was
40 or
yeah, it
rock?
was top
or-
40.
Was it an iHeart gig?
No.
Was it Q104?
No.
Star 102?
No.
There aren't other top 40s. Those aren't even top 40.
98? What is
No.
it? 98? What's
Classic rock?
I didn't say it was this
No,
market. I
the
said it
one-
was
what's the
around-
one
I
in
said it was
Akron?
around this market.
KDD.
No, that's
That's
this.
Oh, that's
iHeart.
iHeart.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
this market.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway. Point is,
I don't know why you don't want to just say what.
No, because I don't want to.
because here's what it is.
Door might still be open.
No, that's great.
Oh.
If they hear, he doesn't want to make them feel bad by not going, someone who's lying awake nights, kicking themselves.
Oh, yeah.
That
I
didn't-
almost had pound cake.
that they didn't work harder But he wasn't Poundcake yet. He was still DJ Cobra. They were listening to DJ Cobra and going, that's a guy, I want him snake biting my radio station. I want him out there striking. All right, well, there you go. Do you regret that decision?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
All right. Well, I certainly don't want to keep you
Do
from
we
following
regret
your-
that decision?
No, of course not. I would never want to keep anybody from following their bliss. There's been a lot of, this show's been a revolving door, with me being the only constant, but that's the way it's supposed to be if you're going to have other people on a program. I was just curious. But he's here. Happy 8-year anniversary, Poundcake, on the Alan Cox Show.
Thank you.
I've got to take a break here. If you want to send a text, 35192, you can watch live at alancoxshow.com, and we'll be back.
It's the Alan Cox Show.